Yes, yes. We are here, and as I had predicted, I felt something. I felt something before the game, and I realized there's something unique about this game because I knew it. I had this feeling. I knew Chelsea were preparing something because that is the kind of performance you put when you want to play in the Champions League. You couldn't beat Ipswich at home, beat Liverpool. You couldn't beat Brentford away, you have to beat Newcastle away. That was good. That was good. Everything about this game was good. Let me just start talking about the game from the start. Looking at the start of the game, what automatically do you notice is the way Chelsea are moving the ball, the way Chelsea are looking to pass the ball. And the first 2 minutes of the game, the fastest goal Chelsea have scored this season came against Liverpool. What a lovely composure from Enzo Fernandez. Lovely composure. That is what you expect. We've always been talking about, a lot of fans were debating whether Enzo Fernandez is a Premier League player, but nowadays he's coming up with those goals, he's chipping in with those goals, he's scoring those goals. Crucial goal against Spurs, crucial goal against Liverpool, crucial goal. And this is what you want from your midfielders. The ball is played to Neto, and you could see what Neto, the kind of chaos Neto was giving Tsimikas in that left wing. Constantly making those runs. And I've always said, we look very good when we have pacey attackers who are constantly looking to make those runs. Because the minute you're constantly making those runs, you're making the opposition defense look clueless. Where was Virgil van Dijk? He thought Palmer was the one who was taking that shot. Simple pass to Enzo. Enzo, the composure, receives the ball with his left foot, controls the ball, then shoots the ball. 1-0 up after 2 minutes. And then I knew this game was ours for the taking. Lovely composure from Fernandes. Lovely goal from Fernandes. Now we proceed from that goal. Then Liverpool start gaining momentum from that game. Jackson has some opportunities. Jackson is constantly being caught offside, but you can see him continuously trying to make those runs. And then now we reach to the best part of the game. And do you know what is the best part of the game? The best part of the game actually is when we are defending. We are defending marvelously. We are defending good, from the goalkeeper, the centre backs, the full backs, the central midfielders, everybody. Rigid 4-4-2. The wingers are tracking their full backs deep. The wingers are doubling up on Salah. Cucurella had Salah in his pocket. No, nothing. Salah didn't do anything to warrant a goal in this game. And it was just a silly decision that we made in that corner. Because when you look at that corner, I've looked at that corner in the second time, Noni Madueke is just looking at Virgil van Dijk, and I'm like, you cannot allow Virgil van Dijk that opportunity. What are you zonal marking? Somebody should be at Virgil van Dijk. Caicedo should have actually been the player who was tasked to hold on to Virgil van Dijk. And then I was like, oh my God, it's going to be that long game for Chelsea. Chelsea always knows to make this thing hard for us. Just win your game. Win your game. And this is the kind of performance that you can actually take to the fans and tell the fans that we are actually going to try and win we're actually going to try and play in the Champions League. This is the kind of performance that warrants a Champions League position. Can somebody comment if you are able to hear me? Can somebody comment, please? If you are able to hear me, I also want to invite some guests today. So the passing of the ball, the defending, because majority of the time we did was just defending. The second goal, I didn't even know it was a goal. I didn't even know it. When we scored the first goal, I was just like, we need that second goal. We need that second goal. Oh, we need that second goal. Thank you, Emmanuel. And damn, Virgil van Dijk gives us the goal. Thanks, guys. I can see a lot of you are here. Actually, I want to share the link. I want to invite some guests because this is very good. Because let me tell you something about. Let me just say something about this performance in this game. The thing I have to say about this performance in this game is that we really needed to win this game. We really needed to win this game because we didn't beat Ipswich. If we beat Ipswich, and I've said this, Chelsea can qualify for the Champions League if they beat Newcastle and Aston Villa lose their game. If Chelsea beat Newcastle and Aston Villa lose their game, then Chelsea get not to lose against Manchester United. Then Chelsea have 67 points. If Chelsea have 67 points and Aston Villa lose their next 2 games, then Chelsea would have qualified for the Champions League. But again, as I always keep on saying, you need to beat the best team. And I'm actually taking a positive from this performance because a lot of us had looked on the tough fixture. Fulham, very tough. Very, very tough. Everton, very tough. Liverpool, very tough. You need to win those games. We put ourselves in this position, and I'm seeing some maturity. And then the best thing, Caicedo wins a penalty for Chelsea. And I'm like, Palmer, it's the moment to redeem yourself. It is the last minute of the game, but I'm saying, I don't give a damn. We need to get those, we need to score that goal. We need to put this game to bed. Palmer takes the ball. Palmer has not scored a goal. Palmer has been out of form. Palmer takes the ball calmly, slots it at the bottom left corner. 3-1 Chelsea. Game over. Game over. It's over. It's finished. It's finished. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I cannot really control myself. I'm just so delighted with the performance. The defending was good. Caicedo, look at Caicedo. Look at Caicedo. Start play him at right back. He's the best right back on the pitch. Where was Gakpo? Constantly held up by Caicedo. Caicedo winning aerial duels. Caicedo making tackles. And one of the best players in today's game, Lavia. If we can only have Lavia for 20 games in a season, 20. If we have Lavia for 20 games next season, I don't know what we can do, but we wouldn't be competing for the top 4. If we have Lavia for 20 games next season, with this kind of performance, we are not competing for the top 4. And that's what I'm saying. You have Lavia in this game, you're not competing in the top 4. You're not competing in the top 4 because now you're dealing with the big boys. You're dealing with the Liverpools. You're dealing with the Manchester Cities, and you can see. I know a lot of people have been. I have a fan. Please click the link if you want to join. I'm currently waiting for more people to join so that I can add you quickly. So there's this thing I have to say, and this thing is that Chelsea can take up this run. If Chelsea can manage to win the last 3 games, that is a statement not only for this season, for next season, and for the Club World Cup. Because now you're showing you're able to beat big teams. Go to Goodison Park. Go to where do Newcastle play? St. James's Park. Go beat Newcastle at home. When you beat Newcastle at home, you're taking points off Newcastle. Go beat Newcastle at home. Beat Newcastle at home, take the 3 points, deny Newcastle the 3 points, and voila. You are now edging closer. Manchester United at home. Manchester United have been so poor. That is the game that you need to be so serious. That is the game that Maresca needs to take seriously. You win that game, you don't go with pressure into the Nottingham Forest game. Because when you win the Manchester United game, you win the Newcastle game, top 4 is sealed. It doesn't matter what's going to happen in the last game. It does not matter what is going to happen in the last game. You beat Newcastle, you beat Manchester United, end of story. We are playing in the Champions League. End of story. So we really, really need to get that running. So, and also another thing I have to say is that the substitutions, I thought Sancho came on, but I didn't think Sancho gave us in what we wanted. I don't think Sancho gave us whatever we wanted, but yeah, that is what you do when you get humiliated by Liverpool by giving them when you are humiliated by Liverpool by you giving them standing ovation. What do you do? What do you do? Yeah, you have to beat them. Now you beat them. You beat them. Get those points. I'm trying to add people here. There's this alpha guy. Okay, he's out. Let me add somebody here. Yes, hello.
Yes, sir.
How
Good
are you?
evening. Good
Fine.
evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Hi, from Malawi. Mr. Malawi here.
Oh, how are you from Malawi? How's Malawi?
Malawi, I don't know. I don't live in Malawi anymore. I live here in Denmark, but I'm from Malawi.
Oh, how's Denmark?
Yeah, Denmark is nice. The weather is improving. It's actually nice weather now that Chelsea won, so the weather is even better. You know, so
Okay.
you know it is on a Sunday evening when Chelsea have had a big win, you feel nice, and when we lost, we feel shit the rest of the week. You know how it is. So
But they had to make it hard for us. They had to make it hard for us. You know.
we made it hard. We made it hard for ourselves. I think so typical Chelsea. We can be ahead 2-3-0, and somehow we fall asleep. The usual. We have seen this movie so many times before with Chelsea. You know, you think, oh, here we go again. They've scored. Yes, now they're going to equalize. They'll probably lose. You know, I've seen this movie so often in the last 3-4 years. I'm tired of this movie. But today, this movie didn't have the same ending as normal. You know, I think you used the word just 5 minutes ago. You used the word maturity. I like this word you used. These boys are maturing. Yeah. That was an excellent word you chose there, because these boys are growing up, and they're now seeing you have to take responsibility. You have to grab the life by the scruff of the neck. In football, you can't just expect things are going to come to you. We have to work hard. You see Liverpool, how hard they work. They run like crazy. Even though, let's be honest, the starting lineup from Liverpool, that was not the full team. That was like the weaker team. But they did bring in all their good players, but still it wasn't enough with Chelsea. You know, we have destiny in our own hands, basically. We can decide if we want to play Champions League, Conference League, UEFA League, or whatever it is, or so everything is up to Chelsea players. You know, the destiny. Go to Newcastle, get 3 points, and then you need 1 point from Man United and Nottingham Forest. Then you're in the Champions League, and so you need 4 points in the last 3 games. Is that correct?
Yeah. But that depends on the form that Aston Villa actually have. No, it all depends with Aston Villa. If Aston Villa lose their next games, then it's way easy for us. Way easy.
How about Nottingham Forest? Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa got the same points. We're 3 points. We're 3 points ahead. Are we not 3 points ahead, or are we 6 points ahead of Forest?
I think we'll be way ahead of them.
You don't have the table? I don't have the table with me. I don't know.
I think we are currently 3 points ahead of them. We are 3 points ahead.
We are 1 point behind Man City, and I think we are 3 points behind Newcastle. So this is going to be very interesting. You know, even Arsenal may not even finish second. Do you know that?
Yeah. Arsenal might not finish second. They're actually playing Liverpool in the next game.
They keep losing, man. So suddenly Arsenal could be in that mix there, because who wants to finish second? I don't think anybody wants to finish second, because it's, you know how it is, the people, the banter. You bottled the league, you bottled it. You know, nobody wants to be number 2, because you'll be humiliating on social media as usual. So maybe they're trying to lose on purpose. They don't want to be number 2, they want to be number 3, because they've been.
But probably if Manchester City actually make it, then it's a surprise for Guardiola, because he never expected to finish second.
But you see, Guardiola, this guy, he's made a so-called very quiet revolution. You see how he's changed that team, completely new players, and very slowly, everybody hasn't been paying attention because they lost like 4 or 5 games. So everybody's just like, they just went very quietly about their business, changing, you know, bringing in new young players and what have you. And you will see next season they'll be unplayable, that team again. You know, it's like, oh God. So Liverpool will be tired.
And then Rodri will be back.
Oh,
Rodri will.
don't even start. Jesus, I forgot about that guy. And but then, but you know how it is. You've been a very serious injury. When you come back, it's not
Yeah,
automatic. It's not plug and play. It takes time for you to find your old self. As you know, if you've had a serious injury,
yeah,
let's say in your mind you have this fear factor. So
yeah,
you may have been healed physically, but mentally, that healing, it takes a long time. And you sometimes these tackles, you get scared. Hey, I'll get injured again because you remember. Sometimes we fans we forget. So when let's say a player has a terrible knee injury or ankle or Achilles or something, one of those long-term injuries, the rehabilitation they go through, that is unhuman. It is pain every single day, pain, suffering, pain, and those physiotherapists they don't play for fun. They seriously. So that process, I think most players think, I don't want to go through that process again because it was
yeah.
the most painful 6 months of my life. So sometimes then you find that if there's a tackle, remember this guy here, Di Matteo, our coach.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You remember what happened to him after he broke his leg?
Yeah, yeah,
Remember when he came back, he was healed physically, but mentally he was not there. He couldn't come up to that mental level. That's why he had to retire, because the mental scars. Where are you from, by the way? I know you're from.
I'm from Kenya.
Mr. Harambe, Harambe, Harambe. I like Kenyan music, very much so. Shauri yako, uendeleze mama. You know the song?
No, I don't know it.
You
And
don't know
what
the
do you
song?
think about Lavia? What do you think
Oh,
about Lavia?
he was the best player on the pitch. You saw the difference. You saw the difference there. How this Chelsea suddenly they played with swagger, they played with belief, they played with how can I say, with confidence. With
Yeah,
Lavia in the midfield, and this guy Lavia, I didn't really realize, but no, when he gets a ball, it's none of this sideways passing or backwards passing. It's always
progressive pass,
progressive
progressive.
passing. He has a like attacking mind, and this is what we've been lacking a lot in and
In that midfield region.
and then of course we've got our proper captain Enzo. I love Enzo. So he's another class altogether, in a class of his own. He's that guy who doesn't even speak English, but he's the captain. I don't know how that works, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You explain to me. How can you be a captain of a team if you don't
But
speak the
it's
language?
you know
Huh?
you know it's all about leadership, and I think he's now speaking a bit of English.
What,
Though
what
it's not quite
in your mind? Sorry to interrupt you. In your mind,
yeah, yeah.
football. What is football leadership?
I think football leadership is more to do with the on pitch, the playing, the movement, the way you motivate your players, the way you look at your players, the way you direct your players. I think that's more about leadership than even because we never see that from Rhys James. He's the captain, but you never see it. You never see it. And you cannot put it on Rhys James because that's not who he is.
That's not
Even
his
when
personality.
Pochettino was picking captains, I think Chilwell was actually much more vocal, but he opted for Rhys James because I think long term the club saw Rhys James as more of a mainstay at Chelsea than Chilwell because of
Mhm.
the rise of Cucurella and also the price they bought Cucurella. But so far, you can see Clearlake have assembled a better team. Just some few additions in centre back and striker. Do you think that team is good enough not just to be title pretenders next season, but to actually take on Manchester City, Liverpool, and Arsenal?
If you buy me a good goalkeeper, yes, one. And if you buy me a centre back, I agree 100% to you, two.
Yeah.
And this question about the striker, I'm a big fan of Jackson, so I know people are laughing in the chat. But I think Jackson, the guy, is undervalued. The work he does, the running, the teamwork. Yes, I know he misses chances. Yes, I know sometimes he's offside and all that. But you can't underestimate the value for the team. The amount of space he creates for Madueke, for Sancho, for Palmer, because he's so unselfish. He runs and runs in, and he pulls defenders. A bit like Darwin Nunez. Liverpool guy there.
Yeah, it actually created problems for us. I was like, Nunes is coming to create hell for our defenders. And actually, when he came on, is when Chelsea's defense looked shaky.
Oh yes, and one I was very disappointed in this game is I didn't see my new main man, Tariq George. I wanted to see him. I like Tariq George. I think this guy is going places. But he somehow, you score one goal. This is the problem with Chelsea. Young guy, you score one goal, the manager will punish you. You're not going to play next game. You're going to not even sometimes not even on the bench. I don't understand this. I thought young guys when they excel, do well, you should like. Reward them, encourage them, make their confidence grow, but not like he scored against, who was that? We won 2-1. What was the game?
Fulham.
Fulham. He scored the winner there. And yet he hasn't played since. He played a little bit in the Conference League, but that is not really football, is it?
But you see also in game management, especially for young players, you just can't take Tariq George and throw him next to Virgil van Dijk and tell him, now take on Virgil van Dijk. There's a way you bring him on if you're winning 4-1. You just take it slowly.
Wait a minute. I disagree. When your dad said to you, I don't know, I've forgotten your name here, but he says to you,
Tyrone.
Sorry?
Tyrone.
Just do it. He didn't babysit you when you were 18, 19. He just said, go out in the world and just do it. Grow up and man up, and you find your own way, and you learn through experience. You learn through making mistakes, and you don't need to babysit people all the way until they're 20-something. Okay, now he's ready. Sometimes we saw that guy in the Conference League. He put the 16-year-old guy there. What the hell was his name? That guy, young guy there.
I didn't even know his name. He actually had an opportunity to score in his first touch. He had an opportunity to score, actually.
Exactly, but this is what you do sometimes. Young people, no, they're not scared of anything, as you know. It's not like when you're old like me, you start fearing things. Oh, that could be dangerous, or this, that, the other. Oh, be careful, whatever. When you're young, you have no fear. Everything is, you can conquer the world. You're the king of the world. That's young spirit. So why should you? If he's 16, 17, 18, if he's ready, physically ready, mentally ready, why not? Just give him the chance, give him the opportunity. And instead of, I'm not a big fan of going to spend 100 million, go and buy some plug and play player.
Like Mudryk, we have not seen Mudryk.
Yeah, but he's facing some. Spent. Yeah, but he's facing some serious charges, as you know.
But I heard that the second sample came back negative.
No. You heard that he went for lie detector test, which came back negative. They did a the polygraph test, or the lie detector test, and it came out that he was telling the truth. So that is just a lie detector test. But the physical, biological test there, come on, do the maths. Why don't Chelsea the club had no official statement, nothing apart from the one time when they said, no, this guy was tested positive, and we haven't heard anything since then. But obviously there's some legal issues and what have you going on behind the scenes, so they just keep quiet, and they just want this business to go away.
But going back to the game, how do you feel about Palmer? He has been on a long goal drought. He finally scored.
But if you notice the other games, Palmer may have not been scoring, but how many assists is he making? He's been working hard, assisting. But you could see the one part. Did you notice twice in that game there where he had a chance to shoot, he stopped. He didn't want to shoot because the confidence is not there, because he's been missing and he's been having bad luck. And suddenly he decided, no. Normally he would shoot from the edge of the box, but this time he's just passing the ball. But I think this goal he scored, this penalty, I think is going to open up something.
To take us to the Champions League.
I think so. I agree there. I think he's going to, suddenly you'll see the next game against Newcastle, he'll be like his old self. His confidence is back, and he's running at defenders, shooting from distance and what have you. This is what happens when you look at Jackson. He scored, was it last weekend, and he scored again midweek. A goal changes you mentally. It's like a laxative.
Mental barrier.
Yeah, a laxative. So and it's but this will happen. Centre forwards. They go through. This is not the first time forwards can go through 4, 5, 6 months without scoring a goal. And suddenly they score one goal, then they can't stop scoring for like 3 or 4 months, and then suddenly the same thing happens. It goes up in waves, up and down, and there's no one guy who's a robot or a machine that scores all the time. So that is not. how it works. But I don't know. I'm just looking very much forward when we play Newcastle.
And we really, really need a win against Newcastle, because
When
winning
we
against
when we
Newcastle,
playing?
I think we'll play it next weekend, because we have a Conference League on Thursday, the home game, the return home game, so that we can confirm the final. Then after that, we are going to play Newcastle probably on Sunday. Then we are going to play Manchester United in midweek. Then we are going to probably end the league, or we are going to have the league is supposed to end on the 20th. So if we count 7 days from now, this is date 11. Then you count 4 days from the time we play. Yeah, I think we will probably play Newcastle next week on Sunday.
But look at it this way here. If we go to up to St James's Park and get 1 point, okay, which would be a good result, and then we face Man United, who are getting ready to go and play in the final of the UEFA, or the Europa thing. What do you call that? Not conference. What's the other one called? Europa League. So they'll be playing the final against Tottenham. So it'll be like today. They'll be saving their players. They'll be playing all the younger guys or what have you, like they did today. So that will be a great opportunity. But unfortunately, Chelsea, we don't beat Man United. Look at our record against Man United.
Yeah. That's why, in my opinion, I'm just like, just go and beat Newcastle. Actually, out of all the games, I kept on saying here on my videos that out of all the 4 games, I'm probably seeing us drawing with Manchester United. Out of all the teams that you expect to beat, we will even beat Nottingham Forest away. I know we're going to win that game. But the Manchester United game, there is where the problem is.
But then again, if you look at it, you can also look at it in another way. Now, when's the last time Chelsea beat Liverpool? That is like, I don't even remember. It's so many seasons.
During Klopp's time, we beat them at Anfield.
But it's like 3 years ago.
COVID, yeah, and it was actually Thomas Tuchel and Mason Mount was the one who scored in that game.
Yeah, he scored by the way today, Mason Mount, finally. But my point is that this season we haven't beaten any top 7 team. This is the first time we've beaten a top 7 team. So that is somehow another barrier which has been.
Yeah, it's been broken. Yeah, that's
so
and actually beating the champions. And beating the champions.
Exactly. And then Man United, we haven't beaten Man United, and God knows, I don't know why. This is our boogie.
We beat them last season.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the 4-3 victory. The 4-3 victory. The one that Palmer scored.
Yes, he scored in that. Okay, yes, that's right. That's that game there where he went completely crazy. I love that game. He scored in like injury time kind of thing. And a bit like so that game, how can I forget that? I remember that. Everybody went crazy. But
there's one thing that I think. Sorry for interrupting you. There's one thing that I really like about Maresca is that nowadays we are not conceding goals as much. I'm actually, if we can score 2 goals, the first quick goals that we scored against Manchester United last season, if we can repeat that this season, we will not get stressed over Manchester United. We'll probably even beat them by 4 goals, because I think that there's a way we have shored up our defense.
But I think I just say more, the comeback of Lavia has meant a world. It's made such a huge difference to this team here. Lavia has sort of brought a new energy, a new sense of, how can you put it, stability. So these players feel more safe with this guy playing. Yes, Caicedo is good. Enzo, much as I love Enzo, he's not
supposed to play further forward. He's more of a the position that he's playing now, that's where that is his best position, that left half space position. And one thing about Lavia is that he doesn't make Enzo to come deep to pick the ball. Enzo just stays at his position and the ball is coming towards him.
Yeah, there you go.
And that is what players like Palmer and Enzo want. They don't want to come deep to receive the ball. They just want to maintain their position, and they have midfielders who are able to play those passes to them.
I was on a live stream last week after Chelsea beat Fulham, and the Chelsea fans were on there. Now, within Chelsea fan base, we have many toxic fans, many very bad people. and they were absolutely furious. They were screaming and shouting that Chelsea won. What a blah blah blah. And then one of them was saying, "Who was?" But they all hate Maresca. But they were saying, "Who was Maresca improved?" And the time I was thinking, I couldn't really think of anybody. But now when I think about it, Madueke. Have you seen how Madueke is growing?
Yeah. He's been great. He's been great.
His body language, his personality, everything. You can see this guy is growing up to be. He's going to be a big star.
And
Even Neto.
Also him.
Yeah, he's improved Neto. Neto. I can see that now. Like in the last many games, Neto suddenly he's found his confidence. Shaloba, every time he's on the ball, I get nervous. But even him is getting better. Colwill, he's not really. Colwill is lacking something that last 10%. I don't know, for him to be a really good defender.
I think it's probably that concentration in that defending. I think he would have been better under Thiago Silva for around 2 seasons.
Spot on. Well said. Very well said. And I think, and Colwill, sometimes he spends too much time complaining to the referee or rolling on the ball.
That's one thing that I always get mad. He's losing the ball through a 50-50, then he's complaining, and then we get scored. And he needs to stop that. You are a centre back, you are the last player defending, you cannot be complacent.
And you can't just be rolling on the ground, faking an injury or whatever, looking for a foul. That is again. Now, if you look at that, now you will see. So sometimes I have mixed emotions. I look at Cucurella. Cucurella, when he's got that. If Enzo wasn't the captain, I would make Cucurella the captain. But sometimes he has blunders. He had some weird mistakes there, and he's got to run like crazy to cover them up. But attacking wise, whoa, what a player! What a player!
But there's one thing I always have to say about Cucurella. After suffering Marcos Alonso for years, and Emerson, I don't think we need to be grateful for Marco Cucurella. And Chilwell was good, but Chilwell is injury prone. He will play 2 games, he'll go injury, he'll get injured for 8 games, come back, play 3 games, go back injured. But now you have a left back who's consistent, who's faster, who's better attacking. He attacks better, he defends better, he wins his aerial duels better, he's more physical. We really lacked a left back.
But remember when Cucurella first came to Chelsea, he was completely rubbish. He wasn't very good, and he didn't make the team and all that. And I was wondering, but how could this guy come from Brighton, where he was an absolute star, and then come to Chelsea and not be really performing? And so I watched the interview. I don't know if you saw that. Did you watch the interview with him yesterday?
The interview with Marco Cucurella, I did watch it.
With him and his wife. I actually was crying when I was watching this interview. So they finally they got a baby, but the baby turns out it has autism. Autism, I think it was called. I don't know what it's called. Autism. When they've got this handicap.
Yeah.
So you can imagine your first child, what have you? You're dealing with that stress, personal issues. That I don't care if you're a football player or whatever you are. It would affect your game. It will really. He's had to deal with that issue off the field. A bit like, remember Enzo. Enzo was also dealing with personal issues with the divorce and all that. So sometimes we fans, we are too quick to to rubbish players and we're not knowing why the players are not performing to their level or why they are struggling, because we don't know. We don't always know their personal issues, what's going on. We only find out afterwards, and it makes you feel bad. Think, wow, we were so harsh on this guy here. We didn't know when we didn't.
And also that's also probably what costed Pep, because I think also Pep going through his divorce. I think I'm hearing that he's back with his wife, but we'll say during that December-November period, he was very depressed. That's why there's that time when he went and scratched himself. And the people were like, wow, insulting Guardiola, but Guardiola is going through a divorce. Yeah. He's losing half of his things. He's losing his wife.
but you know the moral of that story.
Yeah.
Not to be like an old guy telling young guys something. The moral of that story is that the grass is not always green on the other side. Don't always be tempted by the younger, fresher, whatever, because you think, wow, what you have is what you have is sacred. You went and you swore in front of God, what have you, and all that. But don't be corrupted by something which is younger and fresher and is just basically there to pluck your money, and you'll pay the price for it. I mean, maybe Pepsi found out. Yeah,
Mm.
I missed my paella, the one my wife makes, and it's. Hey, tell me something. In Kenya,
Yeah.
I know in Uganda they make this world famous banana beer and
Yeah.
liquor. Do they do the same in Kenya?
Mm, mm, in Kenya, I think there is one, but probably I don't think it's a banana. There's
It's
one with molasses. I don't think it's
Malasa.
molasses.
Yeah, that is the hard
It-
liquor. That is the strong stuff.
yeah, there's one with the molasses. I think probably it's just fermenting things which are sugary. Probably even the banana one is there, especially to counties which are bordering Uganda.
Yeah.
So it's the colonial boundaries that actually separated people, but they are probably the same people living across.
Exactly. But
That's the problem in this continent.
yeah, but you can see how they make like the banana. I was watching one documentary from Rwanda. I was watching one from Uganda. How they make this beer, and very interesting process where they actually use grass. So they actually grass is like this normal just growing grass. They they use that to like squash the banana into like a paste, and it all comes into the big drum, and then it has to ferment with the sugar and yeast and all that, and then they can start the brewing process. But a very simple process, and that is a very people love that more than the Heinekens and what have you and all that. And it's a lot cheaper, obviously. And but it's that is. I just find that very interesting. But as you said yourself, you can make beer basically from. You can use cassava, you can use maize, you can use anything. That is, but as long as you can distill it, as
I,
long as
yeah, but though I don't know how to make. I don't take alcohol.
but are you in Nairobi?
Yeah, I'm in Nairobi.
Oh, I think Nairobi. I think you call it. Right? Not Nairobi, not Nairobi, Nairobi. I don't even know how you say it in Swahili. Nairobi.
Nairobi, Nairobi,
Sorry,
Nairobi.
because I listened to this woman singing Miriam Makeba, and
Yeah.
she says Nyayo Nairobi, and she's a song she sings there. I love her voice. She's got the most beautiful voice of all time. And that is, I don't know. It's way behind. Yeah, you young guy, you probably don't know who she is, but
Makeba, I know her.
you know her, a young guy like you.
Yeah.
Okay, you do know
We
you
do listen to all songs. I usually listen to all songs.
only when you go out to the countryside or to the village. That's when you hear all
Oh,
the
no.
more music.
Even in my house, I listen to
You
all.
see? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And even when you go to clubs, probably to watch games, you'll probably hear them.
Wow.
You'll
Okay. I
probably
thought
hear
that.
Congolese music, music from the 80s, from the US, from Europe, from Congo,
Mhm.
from Tanzania. Yeah.
Because my first love of African music is soukous. I don't know if you know soukous music from West Africa, from
No,
you probably don't.
no.
Oh, it's like a rumba. Rumba is a very dancehall. I like that kind of music, but then I also like Kenyan music. I like. There's actually a Danish guy who lives in Tanzania. He made one big hit. He sang in Swahili. What is this song? What's his name? Muzungu Kisha. He sang this song. What the
Yeah.
hell is it? What is that song called? But if you hear him speaking, you'll think he's a Kenyan or a Ugandan because he speaks just like he lives there, obviously in Tanzania. What's the song
Okay.
called? The song that he had a huge hit. Um, I have forgotten. I've got it on my phone here, but I'm just tired.
Oh,
But that is how it goes. No, I mean, I don't know. I can't see comments in the comment section. So I don't know. Maybe you can see comments if people have any questions.
Uh, yeah. I think there isn't. I think I think people are just suggesting me to go and watch the Cucurella interview. So I'm probably actually going to watch it. But it was really nice to have this live stream. I will really try to have more, especially after games and before games. Just that sometimes I'm caught up with work.
Oh yeah, we no money, no honey. So you have to work.
Yeah. You have to work.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
thanks
Yes,
a
sir.
lot.
I'm going to go. Yes, sir. Nice chatting and congratulations to your channel.
Okay, thank you. By the way, do people from Malawi speak Kiswahili?
Nah, in the north, they speak a little bit Swahili, but otherwise we speak Chichewa
Okay.
and
I'd
Nyanja.
really like but you speak English.
I speak English, I speak German, I speak Italian, I speak a lot of languages. So it's
Okay.
we have learned along the way. So yes, sir, my
That's
friend,
amazing.
be lucky, stay, and God bless, eh?
Okay. Thank you very much also.
Yeah, cheers.
Okay. So so thank you for joining us in our video today, and that was really good. I also want to go and catch up what is happening on social media. Check up what is happening. I need to prepare a video tomorrow. A lot of you are waiting for it. I'm going to do it. I'm currently working, so I need to move fast. So tomorrow in the morning, you'll get your video. Tomorrow in the afternoon, you'll get your tactical analysis video about Liverpool. If you want me to do more videos, I'll be doing more videos as I'm looking to build up the momentum with regards to this. Thanks for staying with us. Thanks for joining us, those who have joined us. And we are really looking forward to grow this channel. And hopefully we win against Newcastle. We win against Manchester United. We call it a wrap. Win against those two, you call it a wrap. Doesn't matter what Aston Villa do the final day. If Aston Villa lose a game, we just need to win 2 games. You win 2 games and it's done. Thank you for joining us today. See you in our next video. Bye.